Hi, I'm Matt here with I'm Breaking It, and today we're going to be looking at the Luke Skywalker Landspeeder UCS set. Set number 75341 with 1,890 pieces, sold at a price of £175 in the UK or $200 US over in the US. Let's first take a look at the box art. So they've gone with the amazing 18 plus adult black background styled box, which I love to see, with a amazing still shot and beautiful angle of the actual set there on the front. And on the back they have another still angle of the box of the set itself, and you've got a couple of other stills down here of key features such as the cockpit and the engine, a couple of dimensions of the set in the middle, and a couple of movie action stills of the live actual prop. Another key bit of detailing on the box is this beautiful exclusive to the set C3PO. One of the main deciding reasons as to why I bought this set, because you're not going to be able to find it anywhere else so far, and I hope not in the future, with its beautiful dual moulding leg, but we'll take a closer look at that in just a second. That's what I have to say about the beautiful artwork on the box, but moving away from that and onto the actual main thing, the set itself. There she is, the fantastic Landspeeder, and ain't she just a beaut. Those beautiful light orange and dark red colours transitioning down the entire model, with an exposed engine, an exclusive windshield for the cockpit, and those two minifigures you can see at the bottom. It's just a beautiful set. But let's just take a closer look at those minifigures first. So the set comes with two minifigures, the first of which is Luke Skywalker. This is Luke Skywalker Farm Boy. Pretty standard, pretty common minifigure, nothing really special about him. Still nice to have. I actually don't have one of these because I haven't got a Landspeeder. So it's just a nice plain figure to have. He's got a blue lightsaber there and a pair of binoculars. He's also dual-faced, so you've got a happy face here and an angry face on the other side. The second minifigure that comes with the set is the much cooler, much more and exclusive, in fact only exclusive to the set, dual moulded C3PO. He's got that dual moulded leg that you can see, that's half silver, half gold, which is really nice to see on previous C3POs, especially with previous Landspeeders. It's just a silver sticker that's on the front, or a silver print, rather than an actual moulded leg. So that's really cool to see. He's got some great detailing on the front and a bit of detailing on the side of the leg there, and even some more on the back. So he is a hugely detailed, probably the most detailed C3PO we've had to date, and I just love him. It's one of the things that persuaded me to buy this set. So moving away from the minifigures a little bit and onto the stand, it's a relatively normal stand for a UCS set. Actually held a horizontal to the ground position rather than at a slight angle like we see on the Y-wing or the A-wing. Perfectly reflects the set, because the set does just hover above the ground, doesn't fly any particular angle, and is only a matter of feet above the ground. So the stand itself is perfect for the set. It's got a nice information plaque there, and two spots where you can put both minifigures. You can have them either way around. I prefer the one set in the manual like this, and it perfectly displays and supports the set. And I don't have any issues with it. It's very sturdy, and I like how it's laid out. Yeah, the minifigures and the plaque itself aren't actually central to the model, but that doesn't really bother me. So moving on to the main part of the set itself, the vehicle, the Landspeeder. I'm going to start at the front, talk through a bit of detail, and finish off the engine to the back. So it's a beautiful, well-established movie recreation of the Landspeeder and the prop that they used. It even includes a lovely decal sticker of a bit of damage there, which you don't see on many UCS sets. Usually they're like in perfect condition, which isn't practical. Apart from the Slave one, that had a bit of damage on either side of its fin, I guess you could say. And they had two stickers on either side that look slightly different, and again represented scraping or damage. So it's really cool to see an imperfection in a sticker on one of these sets. Brings it to life, I feel. So the vehicle has a really nice rounded front, as I've said. It's pretty well done on the sides when it matches these slopes, apart from the bottom where there's a slight imperfection in the build. There's a bit of a lip there, but that's the only flaw I can really see in this set. It's right at the front, and it's not too noticeable from certain angles, so I think it's alright, it's fine. You've got these very sleek and very nice repulsor vents on both sides, made up of 5 malleable tubes. It's interesting Lego build. They don't actually clip into anywhere. You kind of just slot it into the front here and onto the sides, and it tends to hold its own shape. and it hides a lot of the internal like building mechanics of the front nose, which I think is a really cool way to hide that detail and it brought the kind of the front of the set to life, which was really cool to see when you're building it. And these repulsor vent tubes blend in and merge in very well with the actual rest of the set by this one little sticker here. I think it does an amazing job of taking it from those silver tubes vents to the red part of the bricks. It's a very neatly done and simple and effective transition. I like it. On the front of the craft we have a bit of exposed engine, which is really cool here. There's actually a gun shaped piece just there, and slightly further back, over at the back there, you can see this annoying tile, and I understand its purpose of being there. It represents the actual prop really well, it matches it up, but it's annoying because when you're moving it, not that you move it often, if you knock it or if you slide it, you can move that tile quite drastically, and it's just annoying to have to try and get perfectly aligned. Next, further down the craft, we're going to move on to one of the more interesting and really nicely again built. I think the whole set is really well built, but this is specifically a really nicely built area of the cockpit and the windshield. The windshield is bespoke and specifically made for this set, so that's really nice to see. It also came in its own bag, so to say. It's more like a sticky sheet that wrapped it around it, so that it stuck to the front of the windshield, so that when it came to applying it, kind of just half unwrapped it, pushed it down with that sticky sheet still attached, and it left no sticky residue, and it also meant that I didn't get my fingerprints all over the windshield, which is fantastic because I just hate when you can see fingerprints on a transparent Lego piece, or any Lego piece for that matter. So moving from the windshield onto the interior of the cockpit, it's a really sleek and really neat design with very minimum studs on top, which I love. It's got a very cool sticker as the center console unit just there, that shiny bit, a nice gear shifter there, and a movable, not that you would want to, you can flick it up and down, steering wheel. And at the back of the cockpit you've got two non-minifigure scale, but the entire thing isn't really minifigure scale, really nicely built, again no studs showing seats. So it's really sleek. There's no studs on the bottom, the back, or the headrest, and it's a very simplistic build, but very effective, and again just adds the impact of the set. And a little bit behind the cockpit back here, we have some more red and light orange plating, which runs throughout the set and adds a great aesthetic and realism to the set, and that's where C-3PO and R2-D2 in the actual movie would sit. But further behind that, we have the three engines. Two of which are complete and one which is missing a hood. Adds even more detail, but we'll go look at those now closer up. So looking at the first engine, the engine that stands out the most is the one that doesn't have the hood. You can see the inner workings of it, and I think they've paid particular attention to the detailing here with all the wires. There was about 3 different types of cabling pieces that you had to manipulate in such a way to get the wires to look authentic and real, and I think that's really cool. Moving around to the front of that engine, you can see the air intake at the front. They've actually all got the same air intake, which is perfect because that's how it should be. And we'll go ahead and look at the other 2 engines that are very similar in build. In fact, they look similar, but every single engine has a different build to them and a different way in which they connect, which just adds to the building experience of them, and I think it's fantastic to make things different, even though they look the same on the model. So looking at the other 2 engines together, again they've both got this intake on the front, you just see that one on the back. Both engines are very similar in the respect that they are built to look the same. Of course, one is mounted on top and one is mounted on the side. They both have the same kind of decal stickers that you can see, and you just got to be very careful when applying those to get them to line up perfectly across the top and sides of the engine. The only downside I have to say about both of these engines actually is that this one at the back wobbles a bit. There's a little bit of give there, which is annoying in a UCS set. You think there'd be a sturdier build, and again this one I wouldn't pick it up by here, very very wobbly. But I understand the sacrifice of building quality for aesthetic look. I guess in a display set like a UCS model, that's the way you want to go, for looks above building stability and building technique. Last thing to note at the very back of the set is the attention to detail they've placed to what I believe to be the rear exhausts of the set. They're both very similar in the build, just symmetrical, and I love the little angle incline that they're set at. They're not set flat and vertical with the model, they're set at a slightly hanging over incline, which I like, I love. Just adds a little bit more angle to the set, and it's a nice touch. So that's the set. Overall, I think it's a really colourful set. I love the shades of red going down amongst the light orange. It's also a very colourful set on the interior as you build it. There's lots of blue, light blue, I think teal as well as plain normal red bricks, as well as some green. So it's a very colourful build. It's not all grey inside, which just adds to the ease of building and again the building experience. Another downside, I think maybe the other only downside, is that there's no internal storage. It'd be nice to see some storage amongst these back panels. And there is none of that. I also think it's a great set because it's great to look at from pretty much every angle. You can have it displaying this way, or you can actually lift it up because it only sits on 2 pegs, and have it displaying the other way. So it's really that simple. He says you can't do it blind. Ah, there we go. Fantastic. And just have it displayed like that, which is amazing. Overall, I'm really pleased I actually purchased this one. When it first came out, I was very dubious, and when I first heard that it was going to be the Landspeeder, it was going to be the UCS model for the springtime, summertime this year, I was a bit like, ugh, really, another one? Great. I was looking for more like a spaceship rather than just something that flies on the land, but I think it actually looks amazing, and I'm so glad I bought it, and for the price that it was, the £175 I paid, like, why wouldn't you? It just looks amazing. In my personal opinion, and of course people are going to say this, it's the best Landspeeder there is. It's not the most playable, obviously, but it's the best to stick on the display shelf, and that's what I'm all about. And so I'm, again, just so glad I bought it. Do you like it? Would you get one yourself, or have you already got one? What do you think of it? Tell me below. You've been listening to I'm Breaking It. This was my review on the Luke's Landspeeder. Thanks for listening. See you next time.